Hi, this is Cindy Presgraves with Cindy's Realty Group by EXP. And look, today I want to talk about patience is the key to buying a home this year. So, like one of my little videos yesterday was like, hey, you know what? I had a client that was really frustrated because after the first offer was rejected, she's like, you know what? I'm just going to buy cash. I want to give up on this. Patience is the key. The right one will come along as long as you have the right agent too. They know how to write contracts. All right. So, and here, this information is like the question many home buyers are facing this year is why is it so hard to find a house? So we're in the ultimate seller's market. This has never been seen before, which means real estate is ultra competitive for buyers right now. So the National Association of Realtors notes homes are getting an average of 4.8 offers. So this has increased in the past 2 months a lot. I think it was like from 2.7 from 4.7 to wait 2.7 to 4.2, now 4.8. So it's increasing. The inventory is scarce. So, and that number keeps on rising. Why? Because there are so few houses for sale. We are not on a freaking bubble, by the way. We're not in a bubble. So keep that in mind. Get that through your head. So low inventory in the housing market isn't new, but it's becoming more challenging to navigate. So Danielle Hall, Chief Economics at Realtor.com, explains the housing market is still relatively undersupplied and buyers can buy what's not for sale relative to what we saw in 2017 and 2019. March 2021 was still roughly 117,000 new listings lower, adding at the pre-existing early year gap of more than 200,000 fresh listings that would typically have come to the market in January or February. And that is supposed to be the slow market, the slow season. Despite this week's gain from a year ago, we're 19% below the new seller activity that we saw in the same week in 2019. While many homeowners paused their plans to sell during the height of the pandemic, this isn't the main cause of today's huge gap between supply and demand. So I want you guys to understand, please ask questions. I need you guys to ask questions. So Sam Hatter, Vice President of Chief Economics at Freddie Mac Economic Housing and Research Division, shares the main driver of the housing shortfall has been the long-term decline in the construction of single-family homes. That decline has resulted in the decrease in supply of entry-level family homes or starter homes. We can't really find any more starter homes. I mean, if you're looking at 300,000, that's a starter home, depending on where you're at. When you consider the number of homes built in the U.S. by decade, the serious lack of new construction is clear. So home built in the U.S. by decade, and I'm going to show you this because, I mean, all right, so we're talking about from the 1930s up to 2010, 2019. So I'm going to show you this gap of what is the percentage. So look at this, from 1930 to 1939, and we have an increase of every single year there. So look at this, 2010 to 2019, 5.8 tells you a lot. So the number of newly built homes is disproportionately lower than the rate of household formation, which according to the U.S. Census Bureau has continued to increase. So Hatter also explains, even before the COVID-19 pandemic and current recession, the housing market was facing a substantial supply shortage. And this is really, really true because I've been working through this. And that deficit has grown. In 2018, we estimated that there was a housing supply shortage of approximately 2.5 million units, meaning that the U.S. economy was about 2.5 million units below what was needed to match long-term demand. And using that same methodology, we estimate that the housing shortage increased to a 3.8 million units by the end of 2020. So supply and demand here, statistics 101, I always say that. So a continued increase in a housing shortage is extremely unusual. Typically in a recession, housing demand declines and supply rises, causing inventory to rise above the long-term trend. So this says a lot. So to catch up on the current demand, Freddie Mac estimates we need to build almost 4 million homes. The good news is that builders are working hard to get us there. The U.S. Census Bureau also states privately owned housing units authorized by building permits in March were at a seasonal adjusted annual rate of 1.7 million. This is 2.7% or plus, above the revised rate of 1.72. Privately owned housing starts in March were at seasonally adjusted rate of 1.739. This is a 19.4%. So above the revised estimate of 1.47, 1.4. But okay, so what does this mean in numbers? Okay, so what does this mean? Lawrence Young, chief economic of NAR, clarifies that the figure of 1.74 million housing starts is the highest in 14 years. So this means both single family units and multifamily units ramped up. After 13 years straight of underproduction, the chief cause for today's inventory shortage, this construction boom needs to last for at least 3 years to make up the part shortfall as trade. So did you hear that part? I want to repeat that part. So you guys are thinking that we're going to go into a market crash. This is going to go, foreclosure. Guys are wrong. So in here says the construction boom needs to last at least 3 years to make up for the part, for that part shortfall. 3 years. What are you talking about? So if you're thinking, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna wait till next year or until the market hits the ground. Honey, you're dreaming. Get out of your dream, get out of there, pick up, this is reality. We don't have enough supplies. And right now, if you see, different builders are taking 5 to 8 months for new construction, depending. I mean, well, a builder can take 4 months, 3 months. That depends. But I wanted to make that clear there. And I'm going to make a little reel there too. So, it needs to make up for the part shortfall. As trade up buyers purchase newly constructed homes, their prior homes will show up in MLS and hence more choices for consumers. Housing starts to housing completion could be 4 to 8 months. So be patient with the improvements to inventory. In the meantime, construction workers deserve the cheers. Yay! Oh, to all my construction workers. Okay, so in this case, this is what I'm telling you. And I have a client that we got under the contract last year. I think it was October. And she probably might be seeing this video. But in this case, you know what? She has a lot of equity. And by the time she closes, I think she bought her house like at 335. And by the time she closes on her house, she's probably going to be in the 400s. So think about that. You're going to be putting money in a piggy bank, and which is awesome because yes, you're going to get, if you go with new construction and all that, that's awesome because you're going to get that appreciation and you're going to get a brand new house and you don't have to worry about that. But if you have any questions, it's patience. Don't run into the first thing that you see. This is just like in a relationship. Be patient. The right one will come in the right time, right? But hey, you guys, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, please comment below, reach out to me. I hope this was very informative for you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And this is Cindy Presgraves with Cindy's Realty Group by EXP in Georgia.